So, what happens the day after graduation? I mean, for a lot of students, it's this exciting step into a bright future. But for others, it can honestly feel like stepping right off a cliff. Today, we're going to talk about how we build a bridge to whatever comes next, making sure every single student is ready for a successful and fulfilling life as an adult. It's a question every student has to face, but the answers, they are not always simple. Sure, some might have a crystal clear path to college or a career, but for so many, especially students with disabilities, the end of high school can bring a lot more uncertainty than excitement, and that's really where the important work has to begin. And yeah, that uncertainty, it actually has a name: the post-graduation cliff. It's what happens when that structured support system of the school just disappears, leaving a student without a clear way forward. Our job as educators, as family members, is to make sure that cliff is never something they have to face. So, how do we do that? How do we get them past that cliff? Well, we don't just cross our fingers and hope for the best. We build a bridge. And that bridge is called transition planning. It's a really deliberate strategic process designed to create a smooth path from the structure of school to all the opportunities of adult life. So let's break down the official definition here, because every word is chosen for a reason. Coordinated means it's a team effort. We're talking teachers, parents, and of course the student. Student-centered. This is the most important part. This is not a one-size-fits-all deal. It's built completely around that individual's passions and their goals. And the whole point is to improve outcomes for their entire life, not just for their time in school. And you should know this isn't just a nice idea. It's actually the law. The process starts by age 14, because let's be real, you can't just cram building a future into senior year. The goals have to be measurable, so we actually know if we're on the right track. And most critically, the student has to be involved. This is never something that's done to them, it's done with them. They are the chief architect of their own future. Ultimately, this whole process is about taking all of a student's amazing potential, their skills, their dreams, their passions, and turning those from abstract ideas into a real, tangible, actionable plan for their success. It's pretty incredible when you see it work. Okay, so theory is great, but let's see how this all plays out in the real world. I want to introduce you to someone. Her name is Aaliyah, and her story is going to show us exactly how this process comes to life for a real student. So here's a quick look at Aaliyah. She's 16, she's in 11th grade, and she's navigating a few learning disabilities. But what I want you to focus on here are her strengths and her interests. Culinary arts, baking, she's a fantastic hands-on learner. This is where we start. Notice we're not leading with her challenges. We're leading with what she's passionate about. That right there is the foundation of a great transition plan. Next up, we gather some data. But these are not just scores on a page. This data tells us a story. We can see that she absolutely nails food prep when she has a visual checklist. That's a huge strength we can build on. We also see specific spots where she needs support, like practicing customer service scripts or learning how to speak up and ask for help when she needs it. A plan is totally useless if it doesn't work in the real world. So understanding Aaliyah's life outside of school, that's non-negotiable. The fact that her family relies on public transit, that isn't a small detail. It's a huge piece of her plan. If we suggest a job she literally can't get to, we're setting her up to fail. We have to work with the resources she actually has. And when we watch Aaliyah in the classroom, we get even more pieces of the puzzle. We see she thrives with things like visual timers and checklists. She responds really well to role-playing. We also see some very specific challenges, like her hesitation to talk with new people or rushing through paperwork. But these aren't dead ends. They're just skills we now know we need to explicitly teach and build into her plan. Okay, so we've gathered all the pieces: her strengths, her challenges, and the real-world context she's living in. Now comes the fun part. We get to build the blueprint, her personalized roadmap to success. And this quote right here, it just nails it. Aaliyah's passion for culinary arts isn't just a hobby. It is the absolute core of her entire plan. Every goal we set, every service we line up, it's all going to connect right back to that central interest. So for Aaliyah, her blueprint is built on these 4 key things. We've done the assessments, now we set goals tied directly to her passion for cooking, like maybe completing a food safety course. Then her individualized education program, her IEP, will have annual goals to back that up, like improving her communication skills for customer service. And finally, we coordinate the services to bring it to life, things like practicing job interviews or even mapping out the exact bus route to a local bakery. Alia's plan is such a powerful example of what's possible. But her success doesn't just happen in a bubble. It's so important to understand the bigger systemic barriers that can get in the way for a lot of students, and how this kind of planning can absolutely tear them down. The first barrier, and honestly, it might be the biggest one, is simply low expectations. But the moment you shift the focus from what a student can't do to what they can do, like Aaliyah's talent in the kitchen, you completely change the entire conversation. You start planning for success, not just for support. Another huge barrier is when nobody's talking to each other. I mean, imagine trying to build a house, but your plumber, your electrician, and your carpenter have never once spoken to each other. It'd be a disaster, right? The solution is to get everyone in the same room. The school, vocational programs that help with jobs, community services, they all need to be on the same page, working together like a single, unified team. And finally, this one is so important. We have to teach students how to advocate for themselves. This isn't something that just magically happens. Self-determination is a skill. It means teaching students to understand their disability, to know what they need to succeed, and to have the confidence to actually ask for it. So when you pull it all together, why does all of this matter so much? Because we're not just checking boxes on a form or following a legal rule here. We are literally talking about a person's future and setting every student up for a life filled with purpose, independence, and opportunity. And this is the ultimate takeaway. If you remember one thing, let it be this. The point of an education isn't just to get credits and pass exams. The real goal, the true goal, is to build the functional and academic skills they need to thrive out in the world long after those school bells have stopped ringing. And that brings us to the most important question, really. This isn't just about policies or case studies. It's about a commitment we make to our students. So how can we, as a community, make sure that every single student, no matter their challenges, has a well-built, sturdy bridge to the future they deserve?